Here we go. Take two.
Take two.
Take two. Let's get back on Instagram too. Here we go. Okay. So I was really interested in your story. So we're just going to pick right back up with the take two. I'm here with Billy Litz from Hustle Souls, and his band is playing Friday at Flow Jam, and we're super excited. He's live with us in Asheville, as am I. We're about 6 minutes away from each other. Next time we'll just do it live and in person.
Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind, but we maybe could have avoided part of these technological problems, you know?
Yeah, next time. So we were at your story, like where you got started. So you're from Maryland, part of the Litz family, represent. Why did I just, there we go.
That's me. I do finger guns and thumbs up in pictures to look cool. So you got me beat with that at least.
I like it, except sometimes my fingers don't make it like all the way, and they're like, I'm doing like this.
Some
weird...
strange shadow puppet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. I love that you're awkward like me too. So
yes, that's how every good interview starts, is by being told that I'm just as awkward as somebody else. That's I know I'm nailing it right now.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It was like when we last were together, I was giving you flyers and we talked about like your reel on social media. Like,
oh yeah.
Your one, because it was so real, and that's why people love us, because we're just so real.
Oh. Yeah, I can't fake being that cool. It doesn't. I've never been able to pull that off. So it. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us, like, we love music or we love community, we love whatever it is, and so we get into these things. But part of that is trying to get a lot of people together. So there's promotional sides of it, and it's there's this expectation and promoting things that, you know, I think I made a joke to you about Ryan Seacrest, is like there's this well put together, well spoken, charismatic person who introduces the show, and it's like, I'm just trying to sing some songs, and if I try to show up, I gotta figure out how to make my personality work, or it is a disaster. So that's been part of my journey. It's like I actually really like struggled with stage fright, like really bad for a long time. And I would go to play trumpet, and like my arms would shake and the mouthpiece would like hit my face. I was really insecure, and the trying to figure out what stage presence and what an online personality, and like I love making music and I love when people enjoy it and listen to it, but I hate begging people to listen to it and putting myself out there like that. It makes me really uncomfortable, but it's just, you know, it's part of the game. So I've been doing it long enough where I like trying to figure out how to do it as myself authentically, you know.
I feel your authentic self.
Yeah.
I love it. I connect to it. Yeah. It's so fun. We shared your video on social media. The one I read the comments, and you're like, I feel like I'm in a like aerobics exercise video, and like everyone in the crowd too was like doing it with you. It was great. It was so good.
I mean, that was just like somebody messaged us on Instagram, a guy named Garrett, who was at the show, and he was like hiding behind the stage taking this video, and he sent us a message on Instagram, and I was leaving Shikori Hills Festival, sitting in the car, and I had no sound on, and it just pops up, and I swear I was like, I look like Richard Simmons right now, because it's daytime, and there's all these like beautiful people in front of me just like doing these steps with me, and I've definitely never led an aerobics class, but maybe that's in my future someday. It felt very good.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. You got the vibe going. Like everyone was dancing. I love that. It made me very excited for your set at Flow Jam.
We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. So let's pick up where you were. go back to where you started, where you're from, really quickly, because it's
Okay,
so
yeah.
interesting.
I can be
didn't
kind of
really-
long-winded, but I'll try to give the Cliff Notes version of
It's awesome. I didn't
how
know
I
that.
wound up here in Asheville. So yeah, grew up in Maryland, part of the Litz family. Austin and Logan from Litz are my actual brothers. Michael, who was in the band, it was four of us growing up, four boys, and Gaithersburg, Maryland. I actually went to college like with Austin, and we were playing music together at the time. But I just, like I said, I had this claustrophobic feeling, and I just needed to get out and travel. That was a big thing on my mind. I was reading a lot of like Jack Kerouac and stuff like that, and just wanted to like hit the road and kind of drop out of society. So I went to Hawaii for a while. I came back, lived in Salisbury and Ocean City, Maryland, and played in a cover band out there while I was trying to get into the Peace Corps. I eventually got in the Peace Corps and went to Zambia, but I was there for 6 months before I left. While I was in the application process, I got much closer with my girlfriend at the time and realized that I wanted to live with her and not away. And so that brought me back to the States. And I'm married to her now. We've been married for a long time now, probably getting close to 10 years.
To meet your
and
baby doll baby.
yeah,
Beautiful baby.
yeah, we just had our first baby in February. So yeah, family life is great. And I like, it was, there's always trade-offs in life. It's like, I've really wanted to travel and see the world, but then I also really wanted to play music too. And it's like, I have not done the like international traveling that I've wanted to do. I go out every weekend up and down the East Coast with the band, but I hope someday I'm gonna be able to figure it out how to get that work, that travel back into my lifestyle. But but right now I'm really pushing the music thing in Asheville. And so yeah, I came back from Zambia, got married as quickly as we could, because we were like, we want to get married in Maryland because that's where all of our people are. But we knew we wanted to see something new and live someplace just new. And so we had been hearing about Asheville, and so we came down here. We enjoyed the mountains and the music scene, and so we just dove head first into it. We were only planning on staying for a year or two, and then we've been here for almost 10 years now. So that's where Hustle Soul started. I met Chris, who's currently the guitar player. It took us a long time to get the wheels rolling with a band. A lot of stars need to align to get a band together. It's
amazing, watching over 10 years to see like what bands are still existing when we first started.
Yeah,
hard.
It's really, really difficult just because you're like, yeah, get together and play music. Who doesn't want to do that? But you need personalities to align. You need musical interests to align. You need musical skill to align. And there can be diversity within this, but there needs to be some sort of mutual agreement on where you're headed. And then your finances need to line up. What do you do for work? Can you travel on the weekends? Can you make it to practice? There's just so many things that need to align. And I think a lot of great musicians, never really got their chance. If you don't get the John Lennon and Paul McCartney and Ringo and like everybody lining up all at one time. It's like it's not just music. It's the timing's got to be right place, right time, and it's very challenging. It's very challenging.
So when did you guys start? Like when was how old are you as a band?
I'm not exactly sure. Like I'm not the best with this stuff. So it's all kind of estimation.
I love that because time is just this thing that we kind of invented. So
yeah, I'm fairly punctual when it comes to minute by minute and hour by hour. Like I show up on time, but when I look back, I'm like, was that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, or just remembering the date? Like, okay, we played our first show in 2012, 2013, 2016. I have no clue. But I think I've been in Asheville for almost 10 years, and it took about 3 years really to get Hustle Souls going. So I may have been playing music with Chris a little bit longer than that, but we're probably in our 7th year, 8th year, something like that. So we've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
But we've had a number of lineup changes that has slowed us down, and COVID, and it's been it's 2 steps forward, 1 steps back, but we're just trying to keep the wheels on the wagon and keep it moving, as everybody else out there is trying to do as well.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Hustle Souls, this energetic feel, I feel that within your presence, both online and like when I go to your shows, and it feels like there's, that energy, like you can tell that you've built that foundation within like the fabric, at least around here, and then up and down the East Coast where you travel, because it seems like you just are consistently rolling.
That's great to hear. Like it's kind of like watching yourself grow taller. It's like you don't see it until you step back, and it's like, my goal with the band is just to keep it together and keep writing songs and keep putting out music and keep playing shows. And we are really fortunate that we've been able to do that. And things are feeling really good right now. Like we've been playing with a horn player or 2 a lot more, and once we brought that energy in, it's like we're having more fun than ever at our live shows. And we're working on a recording right now, 8 new songs that I think is going to be the best stuff we've ever put out. And we're feeling good about where we're at energetically. So I'm glad that is translating out there. And part of it is like, Instagram propaganda, trying to show only our most beautiful pictures and most full rooms. It's always an uphill battle, like it's music it can be, like last weekend we played Shakori Hills. I had people dancing in the aerobics class, and it was wild. It was so much fun. We felt like rock stars. And then I came home and drove immediately straight into teaching lessons, and then was teaching music at a preschool on Tuesday. So it's like there's a lot of lots of different sides of that energy, that always fluctuate when you're making music.
Yeah, I didn't know. So do you teach at a school, or like people, or do you also teach lessons like online or
I teach private lessons, mostly for myself, but also work with 2 different music studios, mostly in person, but I do virtual stuff as well. And then once a week I teach at a Montessori school in Asheville that my wife was part of forming and owning and running. Yeah. She's a champion. Yeah.
Where is that? Is that in West Asheville?
It's on the river. It's Hawthorne Montessori School and Foxflower Montessori School, and it's everything is in reference to a brewery around here. So it's across the street from Zillicoa Brewing Company on the river.
I know there are so many breweries here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The other landmark is a PVC plant right there. But it's right there. It's in Asheville on the river. Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Oh man, I would have loved to have, like, we had, like, I went to Montessori school and we had, music lessons, but I feel like you'd be very entertaining. I bet you're very entertaining with the kids. Do they love you?
Some of them hopefully do. I hope. It's definitely the most challenging thing. I'm not gonna say the most challenging thing I do, but as far as work goes, like teachers Gives them lots of praise. It is really, really exhausting working with large groups of children, no matter what you're doing. And man, I do it. I teach once a week in a group setting, and I teach for it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of teaching, and man, it wipes me out. It's intense. So the teachers out there putting in 40, 50 hours a week teaching is like that's some good work right there. It's really exhausting.
I know my mom was a teacher. And so both my mom and my aunt was professor, but my mom taught like middle school and at one point high school. And both my sister and I were just like, nope, that's not what we're doing with our lives. Like she loved it. It was her calling. And those teachers that's their calling. But yeah, it's a lot of energy, and you have homework when you get home. You have to do homework.
It never stops, and it is fully all encompassing. And yeah, I mean, some people are drawn to it, and some people love it and thrive on it. But even those people, like, they're working their asses off. Like I've got this theory I've come up with about it, where like, so, and I'm not trying to say that anyone's job is easy, because they all have their like difficulties, but a lot of jobs, there's a certain expectation. And once you learn those skills, you show up and you meet those expectations every day, you can start to get like a confidence with your job. And so like, for Hustle Souls playing shows, like we always get nervous. I get super excited. I'm always like going over the set list in my head, but we've been doing it long enough. I'm finally at a point in my life where I'm not shaking and hitting myself in the face with my trumpet from stage fright. I'm like, we're going to put on a show, and we know how to do that. With teaching is like, you can be the most competent teacher in the world who has everything mapped out and planned out, and you know exactly what you're going to do. And you got 30 little human beings that are vastly different people with different energies. And like one thing could just throw everything into a wrench. You never get that relaxed feeling of showing up to work like, oh, I got this today. It's like teaching. It's like going surfing or something. Like the ocean's always going to change, and you never know what you're going to get. And for me, I try my best to do a good job at everything that I do. So it's like, it's really stressful. Like you don't know if you're going to walk in and there's no waves in the ocean, or it's a hurricane, or it's just, sometimes it's just a good day and it's just a normal day, and the waves are what you want them to be and expect. But then you get a shark bite or something as a teacher. It's like, you never know what's going to happen.
These are such great analogies. I feel like a song could be written about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I come up with analogies. So it helps me understand the world, I think, analogies. But how they get into songs or not into songs is that is out of my control most of the time.
How do you, speaking of songs, how do you write your, like, what's your process? What's your band's process?
We're shifting our process right now a little bit, trying to get like demos going a little bit earlier. And but generally when I write songs by myself, like I come up with like a chord progression with a melody, and it's all music, and it's really simple first. It's like, I'm playing guitar. I'm not the best guitar player in the world, but I'm just trying to find a melody and a harmony that has like that little magic spark to it. And then generally I write the whole musical form, the chorus, and the verse at least, with no words. And I'll often bring that to the band before I even have lyrics or anything, to see where the groove is, how it's going to sit. And then as far as lyric writing, like 99% of the time I have to be outside, and I have to be like totally away from everything and everyone. And so like I'll write a song, and I don't have time to go like sit by the river for a month because life is busy. So I'm just sitting on that music until I get time to go away. But for some reason I can write music anywhere. If I pick up a guitar, I could be in the middle of like a party and come up with a riff. But as far as lyrics go, like I I don't know why. I just got to shut everything else out, and crank
Channeling.
it out like one setting.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
channeling. Gotta like,
yeah, and there definitely is like an element of it that is channeling where it's like I don't know where it comes from, and there's definitely been stuff where I sing about, and then a month later I'm like, oh yeah, I was really anxious about that, or oh yeah, I really did need to say that, and uh oh, some of it is random. It's like random word association, rhyming words and stuff, but our brains don't work in random ways that well. It's like the connections start to happen, and then it's like I can get I'm generally very in control of my emotions. So like my personality is like uh so in control is the good way of saying I'm good at suppressing my emotions
oh,
and not feeling them. So depending on how you want to look at it. So I'm generally very level-headed, very logical and rational, and I don't have a lot of waves emotionally that I am aware of. And songwriting, especially like the lyric side of it, is like I think I tap into that suppressed part of me that I try to keep out of my way because it gets in the way of my life, and that's one of my ways of going there. And so a lot of stuff comes up that I'm not even consciously aware of.
and then it comes out, and then are you ever surprised like what song becomes like most popular in your like set, or are you like this is gonna be like the most popular, or I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Gotten on the
there,
radio and like I love when I hear you on the radio.
yeah, I shout out to any radio station. I know 98.1's got us in rotation, and 88.7 plays us, and yeah, that's huge. It makes it it means a lot to us that people are willing to put us up on the radio waves, or host us at their festival, or just put their stamp of approval on our music and show it to people. But yeah, I think that I have gotten a little bit better at telling if something is going to be worthwhile in the songwriting process. But at the end of the day, it's like I wouldn't be investing any time into a song that I didn't think could be great. So like every song I write, it's hit the bar where I'm like, this might be the best one ever. And
Yeah.
then like most of the time, 95% of the time, it generally doesn't make it see the light of day. I don't even show it to the band. The band never plays it in front of anybody. Like they just get lost to the universe. And I'll play them on like one open mic night or something like that to test them out. But until I get that feedback from an audience of just like, you start to analyze yourself a little bit different. You get insecure about a word or a chorus. You're like, what am I doing here? This is really dumb. That you don't notice when you're by yourself. You put it in front of people and you get that feedback and that energy exchange. And it's pretty quick to tell once you're in front of people, like, oh, this one is resonating, or this is falling flat. And there's definitely times when I think a song is great. I think it's super interesting musically, emotionally. It's got a groove, it's got a vibe, and you play it and it just doesn't resonate with people for some reason. And like, it's part of my logical analysis. Like, I'm like, why is this not hitting? Like, why is this not working? And I'll drive myself mad trying to rework it for 3 months because I think that there's a spark there. And it just can't figure out why it's not resonating. Or we change the drum groove, or we add a chorus, or we drop a chorus, or we add a bridge. But 99% of the time when that's happening, like it's not resonating immediately, like it never is going to. And I'm very curious of why that happens as far like as a songwriter. Like it's trying to dial in on what resonates with people coming from the band. But it's like it's a very, it's not black and white. I have not found the answer of like, oh, if we just play a C sharp, we're set. There's no answer.
Yeah, I guess it depends on it would depend on the audience, right?
It can for sure. And so like, we started as a bar band, and we would play in bars, and our job was to kind of put on a party every time. And what people want in a bar party is a lot different from like sometimes we played really beautiful theaters where everybody's seated and not talking. And it's like what resonates in different environments is completely different. And the way I look at that is kind of like another analogy is like a mural painter versus like an oil painter is like what is going to resonate in a 10 by 10 oil painting is going to be way different style and vibe versus what's going to work on a 30-foot wall on the side of a building. And so there are some songs that I won't play at a festival, and there are some songs that like crush in a party vibe that I that don't give people in a listening room what they want. And so we there are some songs that that resonate really well in some places and with some audiences and don't with others. But there's some songs that just have that magic spark no matter what, and some songs unfortunately just don't resonate inside people for whatever reason.
That would be a really good, interesting, like psychology study, like if we got like a group of people and there was like this, song, like a couple songs, and then we got like a focus group and we just like figured it out, like at least had a hypothesis of what like, what people's brains are doing and how they're thinking as they're listening. And I don't know, the psychology brain in me is like, why? Just like you're like,
Yeah.
what is it?
It is. I mean, it's like it is a driving energy in my life, like of trying to figure that out and trying to.
It makes, I guess, just like you keep going because there's no cap on the like you're never gonna it's like an unsolvable puzzle that keeps like you going because it's like a driving force of just why and how.
And I think you can get like 1 inch closer to the truth, 1 inch closer to the truth, but nobody's ever figured it out forever, and every song that they hit resonates with people. But and to me there is, like, I call it, like when I start the songwriting process and I'm looking for something with that like magic spark to it, is like it's not that the chord, like Ed Sheeran just won his lawsuit, is like the chords don't have to be unique, the melody doesn't have to be wild or something nobody's ever heard before, the lyrics, if I can just write in a song like I love you and you believe me, that can be profoundly impactful. But like most of the time when I try to write that song, nobody believes me. They're like, yeah, I've heard that a billion times and I don't care and I don't believe you. How do you get it so that it resonates and people believe it is I don't know. I have no clue. Because like take a song like Bob Dylan, Blowing in the Wind, is like he wrote so many songs that song uses the same 3 or 4 chords that everybody uses, and for some reason you play that to any person in the world and they're like, oh, that's a folk song, I understand exactly what that's about and I get it the first time that you hear it. And why when I do that does it not hit like that? And and he doesn't do it every time either. It's like sometimes that little magic piece of the algorithm that we don't understand, that little piece of magic just takes a song, and I believe everything he's saying, even if I don't know exactly what it is every time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I was interested because I mean, I love the lyrics to your songs, and there is that extra like pep that, a lot of bands, maybe that's not what they're going for, but like, I like to dance to music, like, just getting the groove on. And I feel like it's natural when I hear your music. It just makes me want to wiggle my body.
That's good. That's yeah. I mean, we're talking a lot about lyrics and stuff, but then it's like, yeah, I mean, if you can get that groove going, it's like, then you're tapping into a whole nother part of somebody's brain psychologically, like I think another part of your brain activates. I think everything lights up, and you just get that much deeper into it when you're physically involved.
Yeah. I agree. Oh my gosh. So tell us what's next for Hustle Souls over the next, 30 days before Flow Jam.
So we are headed out to like Sanford, North Carolina, this weekend, and Spartanburg, South Carolina, for Carolina Indie Fest is like a citywide festival, and then playing a day-long fest in South Carolina. Basically, we're just hopping around North Carolina and South Carolina and the region almost every weekend. We are playing in like Brevard, North Carolina, and Asheville before Flow Jam. So we get to do some local shows, which are always special. And in between everything, all the teaching and the traveling, like I'm stealing like 3 hours here and there to do. We're finishing tracking our next recording project. So I think I said before, but it's 8 songs, and man, it's taken a long time, but we're almost there on it. I was over at our producer Eric Seraphin, Mixer Man's house yesterday. I think we finished tracking one of the last songs, and we're like at the point where it's like maybe we should add tambourine to this and like one little vocal harmony thing, but we're almost done. And that's
Right.
gonna be, yeah, thank you. It's man, it's just such a big undertaking, and it's like I'm kind of guilty of it too, where even some of my favorite bands of all time, they put out a new album, I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to it someday, yeah, whatever. And if I could just remember how much energy it takes to make one song and then put it up for free on Spotify, is like, you should listen to your friend's band and listen to your favorite band's new album, because no matter how great or mediocre or bad it is, man, it takes a lot of energy to get a song recorded. Financial energy, but mostly just the time is it's intensive.
Yeah, both. I mean, recording albums is you know, not a little investment, like time and money. So, but I know time is like putting a song together, like just one song, you know, just like you said, like all of the things that have to align to have a band, and then all of the things that have to align to like create a song, produce the song, get it onto an album. Like, so congratulations. And I'm
Thanks.
excited to listen to it. I think we have your Spotify up on your page about you, so people can start following you on Spotify for sure.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Throw us a follow on there, and then I'm hoping we can finish up recording this month and have mixes done pretty soon, and we'll have something out there before we know it. But you know, anywhere between the next 4 weeks and like 6 months, it's going to be out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. Give yourself, you know, some sort of structure, but you know, not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get it done as quick as we can, but we keep going on the road every weekend, and it's like we all have a lot going on, so it's tough to steal those hours to get it done. But I think we're going to be done recording by the end of the month, and then after that, it's just crossing T's and dotting I's to get it ready for digital distribution and all that stuff. But that's the boring part. Right now, where at least I love recording. Like I could do it all day, every day if I could find a way to do it.
That's awesome. I'm excited. Well, so I've been asking, you know, we don't have too much longer, but I've loved this conversation. It's super nice to get to know you, because I didn't know half of the things that you shared, which is super interesting. Especially, I want to ask you more about your time in Zambia.
Yeah, I know you do a lot of traveling. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're, you know, Flow Jam started as a fundraiser for a school in Africa. I went to Kenya to do my teacher training in yoga with the Africa Yoga Project. And I think what really built my confidence, not only like doing the training, but we had to raise $3,000 to even go. And that went toward somebody, you know, in Africa that needed it. Like a lot of them came from Sierra Leone, Zambia, like all over Kenya, a lot of Kenyans, to be able to do the training. So the training was like with like 70 other people, most of them Africans coming from different countries. like coming out of the slums to learn how to teach yoga and bring it back to their communities and also make money doing it. And then I went down to Tanzania. I connected with someone who knew a guy who started a school in his backyard and was looking for volunteers. And part of the program was volunteering your time to teach yoga. So I went down there for a week and volunteered at this school and was just like blown away and inspired by someone who, you know, has what looks to be almost nothing create a school in his backyard. And now I went back 8 years later, you know, the beginning of 2022, he started a safari company and I went on safari with him and saw the school. And he's like, it used to be just one room with like classrooms. Now they've built dormitories. They are building cafeteria. Like it's, you know, he's graduated a class and all of them speak English. They've ranked like top in their region as far as like school testing. So they're doing amazing things. And we're sponsoring him to come to Flow Jam this year, actually, so he can see the influence that he's had not only in his village, but also in our village. Cause I kind of came home and was like, you know, okay, I'm like, cause I grew up in obviously Bluemont, Virginia, and man, like, you know, that area, like it's beautiful, but at the time there was definitely nothing that was like, you know, like healing or, you know, to see a band, you would have to like be drinking, you know, so like under, you know, my age kids, like that just, you know, wasn't available to do anything outside of like what adults, you know, so for kids, you know, there's not that much to do. Anyways, came back to, you know, my hometown after living abroad and traveling and living in DC, but I was just like, okay, I got to do something in my own backyard. And at the time we were going to sell our farm. And actually after Flow Jam that first time, I ended up, one of the bands moved into our house. And so we kept the property for another like 4 years. But yeah, that's, you know, the whole foundation is like my experience in Africa and how it really changed my perception of not running away anymore from home, you know, coming back home and like creating this like healing community that, you know, as you know, growing up in like Maryland probably was the same thing of like, I don't really vibe with the energy that's happening here, but I love the land. I love the, you know, the foundation of like, you know, my grandfather was a farmer, he was a cattle farmer and also worked in DC, but yeah, that's our, you know, foundation. So it's really cool that you have that experience of being in the Peace Corps, which is, I'm sure you have many stories of interesting stories. But one story I want to ask outside of the traveling in Zambia, I've been asking people on our JamTube episodes, since you travel a lot, what is the weirdest, craziest, oddest thing that has happened to you, either on the road, traveling from a show to a show, at the show, at a festival?
Oh man,
there's been some pretty crazy stories, also some very synchronistic stories.
Yeah, some of them I will probably wait until we are not live streaming to tell you about. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what is the craziest. Man, I got to come up with something here, something more interesting than getting our van stuck at Flow Jam last year. We got our van stuck at Flow Jam. That it was a new van, to be fair, but we got it stuck trying to turn around at Flow Jam, and then 2 weeks later we got it stuck in the ditch again. And we've since learned that we have an extra long van and we need to be careful. But yes.
Now I remember that actually. That was, because that was actually a really funny story. I was like, in the process, I went into, you know, I tried to get this rope, and of course, like Zach comes out and he's got all the things, and he's like, really trying with his Jeep, like, you know, like that energy of like, I'm gonna save the day. Like, this is happening. I've done this before. And he does save the day most of the
Oh
time.
yeah,
And
I
the
know.
energy of like the guy's like, hey guys, I have a tractor. I can just do this real quick. It's gonna be easy. And you guys were like, no, okay, one more. Let's try with the Jeep.
It was late and we were blocking the whole road. So it was like we could have just like slept it off and let but like the whole road was totally blocked. Nobody could get through. Like we had to move the van for other people's sake. And yeah, Zach really went hard on trying to save the day, and we appreciate that a lot. And I always remember that, and I will always remember him for that. But the tractor, yeah, it took a tractor to get us out that time. Somebody had a Jeep that like 2 weeks later, we played a friend of ours like backyard party, and it dumped rain, like the worst rain you've ever seen. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it was like pretty intense rain. It was out in Brevard, which is like kind of a rainforest out there, and it was just like right over his house. It just dumped, and we got stuck. But a Jeep saved the day then, and so my level of respect for Jeeps has actually gone way up because
Right?
yeah, I totally understand why they exist now. I drive the band van or like a really old Prius with like 250,000 miles on it, and the Prius is not going to help anybody who's stuck anywhere ever. So I'm team Jeep now. At least you got to have at least one at every musical event.
Yes, I have learned that totally.
Yeah.
They've been handy. So, okay, well, I have so much enjoyed this conversation, and I feel like I could continue on and on, but I don't want to steal any more of your time because I know that you have a hustling schedule, especially. I love where you are right now. Is this your house?
Yeah, this isn't my house. This is where I teach music lessons at on Wednesdays. This is a room that we built last year, and it's like this is my acoustic room. I got like a piano over here, and I practice down here, and I teach lessons down here, and sit on the computer and send emails and beg people to come to my shows down here. So I finally was able to build a spot in the basement that
yeah. I brought a whole group of people to I don't know, one of the big breweries. I can't even remember the name now. But yeah, and they loved you, and it was a big group, and they all came because I was like, hey guys, Hustle Souls is playing here and I think we should go. And then like 8 people showed up and they all loved your music.
That's great. I sincerely appreciate everybody who's spreading the word and telling people if they have a good time. Like it means a lot to us. We put a lot of energy into it, and to be able to get energy coming back at us from people out there, it means the world. So we appreciate you.
Tip the band and buy their merch. So where can we get your stuff and support you? Tell us your channel.
Yeah. Hustle Souls, that's the name of the band. It's probably written somewhere above this video on Instagram. Yes, hustlesouls.com. We have a store on there that I need to update, but we've got t-shirts and CDs and stuff for sale on there. We are on all the streaming platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We try to be really easy to find, and
very fun. And I love your presence too. Like you've got a nice, I love, even though it's awkward and hard, your community loves connecting with you outside of your shows and seeing what's going down in Billy Litz's house.
Well, it goes both ways. So we're putting it out there, and we're really happy when people respond to it. And yeah, if you're new to the band, check it out. hustlesouls.com has everything on it, and we're gonna throw down at Flow Jam and have ourselves a good time.
Yeah, so Friday at Flow Jam, I stacked this day so we could have a Litz family party.
I was hoping I was hoping that that would happen.
Yes.
I, you know, my brothers are always out there on the road, and it's like they play in Asheville and I'm in Maryland like the same day. It's like we cross paths all the time, and we've played some shows together, but it's like, and we're working on trying to get something together right now in Asheville, hopefully. But man, we pass by each other all the time, and when I get to play on the same stage as my brothers for a night, it's something we really appreciate. So we're stoked about having a family affair up there.
I am too. It's our 10th year, and I don't know if like, I think 2021 was the first time we had Litz, and I don't know if you were with us that time. So like, I don't think we even have had you on the same, you're both now coming back on the same day. So I'm really excited.
So we were both supposed to be at Floyd Fest last year, and that was going to be our first festival together, but I got COVID 2 days before and had to cancel the festival. And so this is going to be our first festival ever together.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh, that makes me really happy, because I really intentionally did that as part of like, oh, like family vibes, bring them together, and let's get you on the same day too. So
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
yeah. Now I'm
Be
like
there Friday. Take off work and go to Flow Jam early on Friday.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I'm hoping people will just get there on Thursday, because then you'll
Exactly.
be all nice and primed up, ready to get loose. But yes, even if you can't make it on Thursday, Friday, come. We've even put up day passes and evening passes, so that even if you can't make it all day for one of the days or whatever, you can get a music nighttime pass, which we've never done before. So obviously we'd love for you to stay the whole time and really sink your teeth into like all the amazing talent that's going to be there. But if you can't, there is now a music only pass in the evening. So yeah, come check them out.
All right, we'll see you there.
Okay, all right, we're gonna end this live on Instagram before my phone dies. Hey guys, give Hustle Souls a follow and check them out at Flow Jam. Get your tickets, flowjamfestival.com. They are on sale now, and again, they're on tier 2 right now, but they're gonna go up June 1st. So make sure you get them before June 1st to save money and spend it on merch and vendors instead. So I'm excited. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. And okay.